Hello everyone. Today our grammar and clarity tip is going to be about what an absolute phrase is. An absolute phrase is a phrase which describes absolutely everything in the rest of the sentence, not just one noun or verb. So this is an example of a sentence with an absolute phrase. Waving her hands around, she shouted and ran for help. So this bit, waving her hands around, is the absolute phrase. It's happening and it's describing what's happening as she shouts and as she runs around. She's not only waving her hands when she shouts, she's not only waving her hands when she runs around, she's doing it for both. Waving her hands around, she shouted and ran for help. So that's an absolute phrase. This sentence has not an absolute phrase. She ran around in big circles. So this would be your adjective, big. But it's just talking about the circles. We don't know whether she's tall or short or whatever. This big just applies to the circle she's running around. It's not about absolutely everything in the sentence. So this is not an absolute phrase. So the easiest way to spot them is that usually they come at the front of a sentence, separated by a comma. And you can check that everything in the rest of the sentence matches. So sweltering in the heat, 100 sunbathers lay on the beach. So you've got the 100 sunbathers lying on the beach, and everywhere on the beach it's hot. So sweltering in the heat applies to everything here. Steadily, she carried every heavy book into the walk-in cupboard. So steadily, this isn't a whole phrase, it's just a word. Steadily, comma, she carried every heavy book into the walk-in cupboard. So she is being steady as she carries every single book, and every single book she is steadily carrying to the same place. So that is an absolute phrase. The other thing that you can do is you might want to write them at the end. And all you do is you put the absolute phrase at the end. 100 sunbathers lay on the beach, comma, sweltering in the heat. That still works. It's still that everybody on the beach is sweltering in the heat. So it is an absolute phrase if the word or the sentence comes at the beginning or the end of the sentence with a comma and it tells you something about the whole of the rest of the sentence. Okay, thank you for listening. Next, have a Merry Christmas, because after that it's Christmas holidays, and then we'll be looking at some sentence grammar. Please do subscribe, especially if you GCSE, because I'll be putting on some revision guides later in the term. Thanks very much.